Welcome to Darshi Talks. If you're a fan of personal stories, thrilling adventures, and AI-generated content, don't forget to check out my channel and playlists for more exciting videos. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Let's dive into our story. It was an ordinary day in the life of Darshi, a school-going kid who lived in a small town. His school was just a few kilometers away, and he preferred walking to it every morning. He didn't mind the walk. It gave him time to think and observe the world around him. As he walked, the cool breeze tousled his hair, and the sun cast a golden glow on everything in sight. On his usual route to school, Darshi had to cross a railway line. There was a crossing right on the path, but it was often open, and he had gotten used to the sound of the trains whizzing by. This morning, the crossing gates were open, and Darshi noticed a few people and cyclists crossing alongside him. He made sure to stay cautious, always aware of the train tracks. He crossed the first track without a problem, and as he stepped onto the second track, something strange happened. The world around him seemed to change. It was as though the sun had faded, casting an eerie dim light over the landscape. The people who had been walking with him vanished, and the once vibrant surroundings became quiet and unsettling. Darshi's heart raced as the air around him grew colder and the world turned darker, almost as if night had descended early. Then, out of nowhere, a fast-moving train appeared on the track in front of him. It was barreling down the track, and Darshi froze, panic creeping up his spine. He looked behind him, only to see another train speeding towards him from the opposite direction. He was trapped between two never-ending trains. His mind raced for a way out, but every direction seemed hopeless. The trains were endless, stretching out in both directions with no sign of stopping. Darshi stood frozen, feeling the weight of the trains closing in on him. His pulse pounded in his ears, and his legs felt like they would give way at any moment. And then, unexpectedly, both trains came to a sudden halt. The screeching of the brakes echoed in the eerie silence that followed. For a moment, Darshi stood there, frozen in relief, as the world seemed to settle into a strange stillness. But as he stood, his gaze fell on something in the distance, a figure emerging from the shadows. At first, he thought it was another person who had somehow found themselves trapped between the trains. The figure walked closer, slowly, her movements unnaturally smooth, like she was floating above the ground. Darshi's eyes strained to make sense of her appearance. She was a woman, dressed in a white gown, her face obscured by a veil of darkness. But as she came closer, Darshi could feel something was wrong. She wasn't like the others. The closer she got, the more Darshi's stomach churned. Her skin was too pale, her movements too stiff. And then, it hit him. This woman wasn't human. She was a ghost, an apparition from another world, trapped in this strange place just like he was. His heart pounded in his chest as he felt an overwhelming sense of dread. He couldn't move, couldn't scream. He was frozen in place, paralyzed by fear as the woman drew closer. She was almost upon him now, and as he braced himself for what he feared was coming next, the woman stopped. She gazed at him with hollow, emotionless eyes. And then, without a sound, she vanished into thin air. Darshi's breath caught in his throat, and for a moment, he was completely still, his mind struggling to process what had just happened. But then, just as he was about to break free from his paralysis, he felt a hand on his shoulder. A jolt of terror shot through him, and he turned around, his heart racing. "Darshi," his friend called, his voice loud and familiar. Darshi spun around, his body shaking, and saw his friend standing behind him, smiling. The sun was shining brightly again. The world was calm, and the train crossing had returned to normal. It was as if nothing had ever happened. "Hey, what's wrong?" his friend asked, noticing the look of shock on Darshi's face. "You okay, Darshi?" Laughed nervously. "Yeah, I'm just a little out of it. Let's go." As they stood waiting for the train to pass, Darshi couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary had happened. But for now, he kept it to himself. He was unsure if he was ready to explain what he had seen, or what he had seen. And so, the two of them walked toward school, the morning sun shining brightly once more, and Darshi's mind buzzing with the haunting experience that he couldn't quite forget. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such thrilling tales. And make sure to check out my playlists for more exciting content here on Darshi Talks. Until then, peace out.